Arthur Whitmore was a man driven by a singular passion, collecting rare and valuable antiques. His home was a veritable museum, filled with treasures from around the world, each piece a testament to his relentless pursuit of the unique and priceless. Yet, for all his success, there was one item that had always eluded him: the legendary Heart of Abaddon, a mythical artifact rumored to possess unimaginable power, but at a terrible cost. The legend of the Heart spoke of an ancient civilization that had worshipped dark gods. They had crafted the Heart of Abaddon, a small obsidian orb said to grant its owner the ability to bend reality to their will. But this power came at the expense of their humanity, slowly consuming the soul of whoever dared to use it. Most dismissed the Heart as nothing more than a myth, a cautionary tale for the greedy. But Arthur was certain of its existence, and he was determined to find it. His search led him to a remote village in Eastern Europe, a place forgotten by time. The villagers were wary of outsiders, and when Arthur inquired about the Heart of Abaddon, they grew pale and silent, warning him to abandon his quest. But Arthur was undeterred. His obsession had grown too strong, and he was convinced that the heart was within his grasp. After days of fruitless searching, Arthur stumbled upon a decrepit curio shop at the edge of the village. The shopkeeper, an old man with sunken eyes and a gaunt face, seemed to know exactly why Arthur was there. Without a word, he led Arthur to a dusty cabinet in the back of the shop. Inside, surrounded by talismans and wards of protection, lay the Heart of Abaddon. The orb was small, fitting easily in the palm of Arthur's hand, but it was unlike anything he had ever seen. Its surface was smooth, yet it seemed to absorb all light around it, leaving a void of darkness. As Arthur reached out to touch it, the shopkeeper grabbed his arm. "This is not just an object," the old man warned, his voice trembling. "It's a prison for a power that should never be unleashed." But Arthur's desire outweighed his caution. The moment his fingers brushed against the cold surface of the heart, he felt a surge of energy coursing through him, a connection so profound it took his breath away. He paid the shopkeeper without a second thought and left the village, eager to return home with his prize. Back in the safety of his study, surrounded by his vast collection, Arthur began to experiment with the heart. At first, it seemed to fulfill its promise. He discovered that by focusing his thoughts, he could manipulate the world around him. Objects moved at his command. The weather changed with a mere thought, and those who opposed him suffered mysterious accidents. The power was intoxicating, and Arthur reveled in his newfound abilities. But as he continued to use the heart, he noticed something was wrong. The more he wielded its power, the more it demanded from him. At first, it was just his energy, leaving him exhausted after each use. But soon, it began to feed on his mind, his emotions, and eventually, his very soul. The once clear-headed and focused Arthur became consumed by paranoia and greed. He saw enemies everywhere and trusted no one. His obsession with the heart grew, driving him to withdraw from the world, isolating himself in his mansion. The heart, once an artifact in his collection, became his master. It whispered to him in the dark, urging him to use its power more and more. Arthur's once vibrant home transformed into a dark, oppressive place, mirroring the darkness growing within him. He no longer collected for the love of history, but to feed the insatiable hunger of the heart. One night, as Arthur sat alone in his study, staring into the black depths of the orb, he heard a voice, ancient and malevolent, speaking directly to his mind. It promised him ultimate power if he would surrender himself completely. Desperate and delusional, Arthur agreed. The moment he gave in, The Heart of Abaddon revealed its true nature. A dark presence, long imprisoned within the orb, began to seep out, engulfing Arthur in shadow. His body twisted and contorted as the entity took full control, merging with his very being. The heart, now embedded in his chest, pulsed with a dark light, a beacon of the ancient evil that had been unleashed. Arthur's humanity was stripped away, leaving him a hollow shell, a vessel for the dark force that now controlled him. He became a monster, driven by the entity's desire to spread its influence, corrupting everything it touched. The once great collector had become the collected, his soul bound to the cursed object he had sought for so long. The Heart of Abaddon, now lost once more to the shadows, waits for the next victim, ready to ensnare another soul with its promise of power. And somewhere, deep within the void, Arthur's tormented spirit cries out, warning of the terrible price of unchecked greed.